It has been a really long week and I have a lot to be grateful. And first and foremost, I am grateful that I have no more meetings today and I only have one meeting tomorrow and none on Sunday. So I'm actually going to take this weekend to try to slow down and breathe. And some of the other things I'm thankful for is I went to the post office this morning. And 90% of the stuff at the post office is bills or credit card offers or things that just go straight in the recycling. But I also got this card. And this was a person who was sharing some very personal details of their own life and also just saying thank you. They said that my story was inspirational or gave them hope, and they appreciated me sharing it so that they can find a path on their own. And I get a fair number of these in DMs or in comments or sometimes in written form. And I've also gotten people who apologize. They say, oh, I'm really sorry to bother you, but I just wanted to share. And I just want people to know how much it means to me, because sometimes I forget. Like in my mind, I know that I'm speaking to an audience, that there are people out there and that I get, these positive responses, but sometimes I'm exhausted because I've done, 10 nonprofit meetings that day and I've done some venture stuff and I've done other stuff. And to me, I'm just sitting here speaking to a camera and I'm really tired and I don't have the enthusiasm, the love and the, kind of energy I'd like to bring to it. And I forget that there's somebody on the other side who still may hear something that they need to hear, that there may be something from my perspective or experience that could benefit them, just as I am benefited from almost all the interactions I have throughout the day. So it really means a lot to me when someone reaches out and says that. It helps me understand that I can have an impact and that what I'm doing is meaningful and it is important and it is worth it. Even on the days that I'm tired or even on the days when I'm enthusiastic but I'm just not sure anybody's going to care, it's worth putting it out there, because if it helps even one person, it means I'm doing something meaningful. One of the other things that happened that I'm excited about is I got my Halloween costume. I'm not really a big Halloween person. As a kid, I loved the candy. And in prison, we didn't really celebrate, though we did have some interesting ones. We had guys make different costumes or do different makeup or events, but it wasn't a widely recognized thing. That was usually one crazy guy in the pod who just did it for entertainment purposes. But I enjoy it out here now because it feels like, hey, this is a chance to be adult. Although somebody said something the other day that I thought was really funny. They said Halloween is just an excuse for adults to put slutty in front of anything. Because I had a friend who told me she's going to be a slutty cookie monster for Halloween. And I laughed at that. And then I started thinking, I was like, no, it's true. You can literally just put slutty in front of anything. But I think the point is, I like the idea of the play. Like, there's a party tonight, and the problem is the party didn't start until 9, and I'm usually in bed by 9:30, so I'm not sure I'm going to dress up and go. There's another party on Sunday. There's another party Sunday night. And then, of course, the coup de grace, the big one, is Tuesday morning. Halloween day is jiu-jitsu. So 6 a.m., I'm putting on my full checker suit onesie, and I'm going to jiu-jitsu, and I'm going to compete. And I guess I'm going to have to wash it a bunch of times between now and then, or definitely going to have to wash it after that, and I'm not sure how well it's going to hold up. But the idea of trying to, fight somebody in a full checker suit hopefully will just, distract or confuse them, and I'll be able to be victorious. But otherwise, I just think about this day and the fact that I've been here and all the people that I've seen. I got to see a buddy of mine. Two of my friends are opening a shop together, and I'm really excited for their progress. I'm actually seeing maybe there's some chance to open a podcast studio there or use some of their spare space, at least for an MVP or an example of whether it works or not. Because I want to do it for myself. I want to have a studio where I can interview people and have a higher production value. I also want to be able to bring people in because there's so many people I meet who have interesting stories that I want to share and get their perspective and just have a conversation with them. And if I'm excited to have a conversation with somebody, I hope, at least a little bit, that somebody else will care. Somebody else will be interested. But additionally, there's a service component to this. Because when I look at the kids in the juvenile center, so often they just don't have the job skills or the experience. And sometimes they're in there for a few days or a few weeks. Sometimes they're in there for years. Sometimes they're in there for juvenile life and where they don't get out until their 21st birthday. And one of the things that I could do to bring in would be, I could teach them how to edit. I could teach them the principles of recording videos, of making videos, of doing social media, of all these things, and then use that as a platform for when they get out. And the kids who really apply themselves and learn, hey, I can give you a job when you get out. We can hire you to do this. If we did the podcast studio for rent, we could have them run the gear. We could have them do the editing or the processing or all that. And then we can get into a deeper side. We can say, okay, let's talk about marketing and branding. Let's talk about, how we sell a story. What is it that you want to do? And then they would have access to the equipment. If they want to go do videos in their neighborhood, or if they want to do marketing campaigns for local businesses, if they want to figure out a way to use that to develop something, we can give them the tools, because that's really all it's been for me. I've been in the room with people who have given me tools that I didn't even know ever existed. I talk about this a lot. I didn't know what venture capital was 9 months ago. And then I went to South by Southwest and I'm in the room and they were like, oh yeah, they're one of the biggest VCs in the country. And I start pitching an idea and they're interested in my idea. And I had to actually have somebody explain to me what a VC is and why that would mean they could potentially give me a lot of money for my idea. And it just blew my mind because I think about how small I thought the world was, and at the same time, how much bigger that is than most of the people that I talk to in prison. Because I would talk to people in prison, I would talk about the places I'd gone or the things I'd done just as a kid, and they would be blown away, oh my God, I never knew that was possible. And I think about how different my world is now, 2 years out, than it was before I went in. It's an order of magnitude, 2 orders of magnitude. It's almost inexplicable. And if we can expose the kids to that, give them a greater perspective. It's the same as we're doing with the Mentor Project, this cloud-based mentor solution, Second Chance or Connect. If we can connect someone who is incarcerated or formerly incarcerated with someone who has lived experience or professional experience or a perspective they can share to broaden this person's horizon, all of a sudden we've built a relationship, which is the building block of success. And we've given someone a different perspective, a different opportunity, and sometimes just a different sense of identity and hope. I 100% believe in this in a way that I haven't believed in any of the big projects we've done before, because it's always been a yeah, but, or what if, or how do we manage, but this feels real and exciting, and just as much for the kids in the juvenile center, because this isn't just names and databases, and this is actually kids that I know, that I see every month when we go inside, that I feel like I know where they're going, or I want to ask them questions, or I want to have conversations, and to actually be able to be a part of that feels really amazing. Anyways, somebody's calling me, and this is my boss, so I have to take this call. But that was my check-in, and we're going to talk about more later.